Hey, and welcome to our video. We're ignoring how I look. I only got like 2 hours of sleep last night, but I still wanted to film this today. So, in today's video, I'm gonna go through every single book that I own that is unread. And I've been reading like off and on since I was like 12, and I'm almost 25. So I've collected quite a few books over the years, and I definitely buy books at a faster rate than I read books. So yeah, I have a lot of unread books, and I have an idea how many I own that are unread, but I thought it would be fun to go through and name all of them and also count all of them. So that's what we're going to be doing today. A lot of the books I own that are unread are books that I got from used bookstores, so they're books that I've never heard anyone talk about anywhere else. So they might be unfamiliar to you, but that might be like a good thing. Maybe you'll see something that'll like pique your interest. So yeah, that's what this video is. So like as a little refresher, this whole bookcase is unread, and so is this whole bookcase. All these books, I have a basket and I have a TBR cart. So I have quite a few books to go through. Okay, this is just kind of going to be a weird angle because this bookcase, this shelf is like taller than me and it's taller than my tripod. Anyway, so refresher also that I have my books alphabetized mostly alphabetically. So all of these are in alphabetical order on this bookcase. So we are starting with A. Also, one more thing, and then I swear I'll get into it. I am terrible at pronouncing names, so I will not be pronouncing author names. I will only be saying the title, but I will try to show you the cover so you'll know what I'm talking about. Cool, okay. So I have The White Tiger. I have Little Men, which is a sequel to Little Women. The Zone of Interest. Then I have some Jane Austen books, so I have Mansfield Park, Northanger Abbey, Sense and Sensibility. And then I do have the whole trilogy for Shadow and Bone, but on this bookcase, I have the second and third book, so I have Sage and Storm, and I have Run and Rising, and then I have the first Six of Crows books. That is Six of Crows, All I Want, The Killing Forest, The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, As Old as Time. This is one of those Disney retelling books in the Twisted Tale series. Everescent and Everlast. I think these are out of order. I don't know. Actually, funny story about these two books, I couldn't tell you if I've read them or not. I'm thinking not. So they're on my unread bookcase. But these are books I've definitely had since I was like 13 years old. And I don't even know which one's the first one. So they could be out of order. And then I have Just One Look, In Cold Blood, The Warrior Heir, You Belong With Me. No, You Belong To Me. This is not a Taylor Swift song. The Girls, Ready Player One. And I think this is a sequel, A Rogue of One's Own, The Vanished Bride. Okay, hopefully the second shelf will go better because it's at a better angle. The Well's End, The Kill List, The Jane Austen Book Club, The Ocean at the End of the Lane, Scarlet, In a Glass Grimly, City of Girls, While We Were Dating, Loud Awake and Lost. And then this is a collection of the Grimm's like fairy tales. So yeah. A Death in Live Oak, Rosalind Palmer Takes the Cake, Firefly Lane, The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, An Exquisite Corpse, Catch-22, You Deserve Each Other, The Little Lady Who Broke All the Rules, and its sequel, The Little Lady Behaving Badly. Don't those just look so funny? And Looking Good Dead. Next shelf, I have Lost Girls, Color World, Nancy Drew Files Volume 1. This is like a YA like novel of Nancy Drew that's like kind of like modernly written. I have Bag of Bones, The House in the Cerulean Sea, The Bridge, Rich People Problems. This is the third Crazy Rich Asians book. Couple Next Door, Go Set a Watchman. This is a sequel to To Kill a Mockingbird. After All, The Prince, The Perfect Christmas, The World of Lore, Monstrous Creatures, Hidden, Conviction, Me Before You, After You, The Giver of Stars, Hardboiled Wonderland and the End of the World, Despair, All the Bright Places, The Kidnapping of Christina Lattimore, Saving Zoe, Love's Enduring Promise, Love's Long Journey, Heartstopper Volume 1, The World Beyond the Hill, The Big Bad Wolf, Zoo, The Maximum Ride, the first graphic novel, which I've not read the graphic novels, Mistress, A Void, Friends, Lovers, and The Big Terrible Thing, Classic Tales of Horror. This is a short story collection of Edgar Allan Poe's works, Wilder Girls, The Wanderers, Romancing Mr. Bridgerton. And then these three are some of the books in the Temperance Brennan series. I think this is like 10, 11, and 12 or something like that. So this is 206 Bones, Bones to Ashes, and Devil Bones. These were my aunt's books, and they're signed by Kathy Reich. And then my aunt gave them to me when she passed away because I'm like reading that series. And then I have The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. And then I have Anne Rice, The Vampire Chronicles. I think this is like multiple books in one. Don't quote me on that though. The Tales of the Peculiar, The Girl in Cabin 13, Catacomb. And now we're on the very bottom shelf of this bookcase. We still have more to go. The Sundown Motel, Eris and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, Uncaged, Blood of Elves, Reservation Road, Blackheart, She Walks in Beauty, Wild Animus, The Wedding Thief, Pieces of Her, Bloodleaf, Fall. The shelf's a lot tighter than the other ones. Grapes of Wrath. This is Dracula. This is Dracule. This is like a sequel to Dracula written by one of like Bram Stoker's like what's the opposite of ancestor? Descendant. So Dracula is written by one of Bram Stoker's descendant, and it's supposed to be like an unofficial sequel. Hook. Kind of a funny story. The Woman in Cabin 10, How to Fail at Flirting, The Disappearance of Lindsay Barrett, and Pride. This is a modern retelling of Pride and Prejudice. And while we're on the floor, I'll go ahead and go through this whole bookcase. Some of these are double stacked. So basically I have this bookcase divided by like the shorter mass markets and then tall mass markets and then what's Stephen King and then what is not Stephen King is kind of the organization I have going on for this one. So in this first section, I think I'll just pull them out and like reverse them as I Cruel and Unusual. Is Too Late part of the title or is it just part of the cover? I don't know. 1 Year Gone. This is a novelization of Supernatural, the TV show. Sherlock Holmes, The Complete Novels and Stories, Volume 1. Sherlock Holmes, The Complete Novels and Stories, Volume 2. I have read a couple of those, but not the whole book, which is why it's like unread. Walking Across Egypt, Deadly Night, The Runaway Jury, The Street Lawyer, Always a Thief, Seventh Victim, The Minds of Billy Milligan. And these are some of my Tempest Vernon books. I have Bare Bones, Monday Morning, pun. Spider Bones. And then I have another copy of Anne Rice Interview with the Vampire. I think this is just the first one and the like other one is like multiple. So I have this mass market of that. And I have Murder in the Mystery Suite. And then this is An Anonymous Girl. And then I have Candy Corn Murder, All the Pretty Dead Girls, Rebecca, The Walker in Shadows, No Place Like Home, The Brutal Telling. Another Anne Rice book, The Witching Hour. This one has like a hole in the cover as like part of the design, which is like really annoying, but like I got it used. So Firefly Beach, Murder by the Book. This is The Well of Ascension and The Hero of Ages. These are in the Mistborn series. I don't know which one's second and which one's third. And then I have Of Mice and Men. This is 100% used. And then I have All I Want for Christmas Is You. Oh no, my books fell. I have The Ultimate Spider-Man. This is like a novelization of Spider-Man, which is like so cool to me because like I love superheroes, but I'm so bad about reading graphic novels because I just like read the words and like want to skip the pictures, and it's like the pictures are the whole point. So I thought this was really cool that I found this at a used bookstore. Haven't read it. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Stalking Jack the Ripper, and Miss Miracle. Okay, and then this bottom cubby is looks like it's spillover from up here, and then the rest of it's like Stephen King's. The spillover is Stonebrook Cottage and Cold Dawn, and then the Stephen King's I have are The Wastelands and Wind and Glass. This is the third and fourth book in the Dark Tower series. I've only read the first one, but the second one is on my book cart. Then I have Salem's Lot, The Shining, Night Shift, The Stand, The Dark Half, Insomnia, Black House, and Everything's Eventual. This is a collection of short stories. As you can see, I own a lot of Stephen King. Do you know how many Stephen King books I've read? I've read 3 novels and 2 novellas, and this is only my short mass market collection of Stephen King. I have a problem. Okay, but you can like always find them used. So like so many of those are used. So that's my excuse. But anyway. Then in this bottom cubby or my like taller mass markets, again, most of them are Stephen King. So I have Dreamcatcher, and then I have the 7th book in the Dark Tower series, which is The Dark Tower. That's odd. But anyway. I have End of Watch, Misery, Cell, It, Oh, there's one that fell behind. Just After Sunset. And these are the non-Stephen King ones, which is The Book of Dead, Missing, and then some more Kathy Reichs books. So I have Crossbones, The Bone Code, and then The Blacklist is the name of this one. Upper Cubby, which is some of my nonfiction. So let's see what I have. There Was a Little Girl in the Corner, This Star Won't Go Out, A Mother's Reckoning, Living in the Aftermath of Tragedy. This is the book that one of the mothers from the Columbine shooting wrote, if you didn't know. Cracking More Cases, The Forensic Science of Solving Crimes, The Atlas Ripper, Mindhunter. Most nonfiction I buy is crime related, if you can't tell. Just Kids, Stephen King on Writing, a Memoir of the Craft, which I want to read, but one of the reasons I can't read it is I've heard that he spoils a lot of his novels in his memoir type thing. Because this book is like part memoir, part like advice on writing. And so he like spoils his own books. And so I need to like look up which books he spoils, I guess, so I can like read those, so then I can read that, and who knows when I'll do that. The Stranger Beside Me. This one is gonna be so cool because I think this is from someone who like knew Ted Bundy like kind of closely, and she had like no idea he was a serial killer. So I think that's like really, really cool. Yeah, anyway. Or Give Me Death, The Diary of a Young Girl. That's like Anne Frank's thing. But by the way, okay, I sort of read that basically in like 8th grade or whatever. Some classes were reading the book and then my class read the play, like the playwright, whatever, of like a play about the book. So I like know, like I've read the story, but I've put this in my like unread section because technically I haven't read the book and I would like to read the actual book. Even when I was like 13, I was like, why can't we just read the real book? But anyway, The Innocent Man. And then this is a science fiction short story collection that I just don't know like where else to put, so I put it there. And then behind this is just like random like miscellaneous nonfiction and like other books, and some of them I've read, some of them I haven't. I just like I don't know, like there's a book about psychology. This book is literally called Why You Shouldn't Eat Your Boogers, and it's like random facts. Like there's just so many random books in this stack. I have a book about Leonardo da Vinci's like work and his life and like just random stuff, so I just like put stuff back there, and that's just where it lives, and that's just, anyway, we're not going through all those. That's just why there's a stack of books I'm not talking about. And I also have a whole nother stack of books like on another bookcase that's like more random books like that. Okay, another thing to go through while we're sitting on the floor is I have run out of room, obviously, and I now have a basket on the floor next to my bookcase of more unread books that I'm just gonna keep stacking. I like keeping the books I have on top of this bookcase as like new books that I buy, and so I think, but it's like full right now. I like oh, we'll get there, but I think I'm gonna start shifting some of those down here, and that's what that'll be. But anyway, Spellbreaker, To Sir with Love, The Skylark Secret, Second First Impressions, Radio Silence, Stay Awake, I Know You Know. Also, I ordered these baskets on Google. Literally the perfect size for these hardcovers, and it fits in the little like gap between the bookcases literally perfectly. And then it's like the perfect shade of gray that like matched my floor, and yeah, I really like these set of baskets I got. Okay, I'm doing a weird crouch right now, but basically these are books that I have 2 bookends and they fit like where my windowsill is, so that's why I'm like out of room. This is a book I'm borrowing from someone, so we're not going to talk about that one because I don't own it. I'm going to do a weird bent over thing. Ignore me. Poor Dear, Sometimes I Lie, Dark Things I Adore, Fade Out, Magnolia Park's Long Way Home, Daisy Hates the Great Undoing, Murder at Mallowayne Hall, She Wouldn't Change a Thing, Water for Elephants, What Happens in Paradise, The Night Singer, Snow White Must Die, Behind Closed Doors, The Crow Girl, Archetype, and Christmas Charms. And now we're going over my book cart. This is the last one to go through, guys. We are almost done. So these are the books left on my February TBR. I have Golden Sun, which is the sequel to Red Rising and Get a Life, Chloe Brown. Down here, I have another Jane Austen book, Persuasion. I have The First Shadow and Bone, Killer Instinct, which is a sequel to The Naturals, The Serpent and the Wings of the Night, Hello Stranger, Swordcatcher, Bringing Down the Duke, Beach Read, The First Daisy Hates, Dune. I'm like 100 pages pages into this. Killjoy, The Family Upstairs, China Rich Girlfriends, which is the second Crazy Rich Asians. Okay, so now we're doing this bottom shelf. I have some mass markets in here. So I have The Drawing of the Three, which is the second Dark Tower book, Murder on Orient Express, The Phantom of Opera, another Temperance Brennan book, Grave Secrets, Whispers, Chill Factor. I totally held that one up sideways. Chill Factor. Then I have Love and Other Words. I have The Housemaid. I have The Assassin's Blade. Can You Keep a Secret? Bloodless. An Offer from a Gentleman. Secrets Never Die. Daisy Jones and the Six. Home Before Dark. Sword of Destiny. By a Thread. This is another nonfiction. This is Unnatural Causes and Waiting for Tom Hanks. And just to throw these in there too, since these are my current reads, so technically they're not read yet, I have Bride and I'm Glad My Mom Died. So those are also unread for now, but I will read them eventually, maybe before this video is out. So yeah, those are all of my unread books. So now that you've heard all the names, let's go through and count them all, because I know it's over 200 and I just don't know the exact amount, so. We're not counting the random ones in the back. Not including the weird random miscellaneous ones, and then not including the two that I'm currently reading. I counted 238 unread books. So I do sort of keep up with what books I own on my Goodreads. So I try not to buy duplicates because it's happened. So according to my Goodread, I have like weird shelf names. We're not talking about it. So like I have a shelf that's like all the books I own. And then I have a shelf that's like books I own and need to read. So my books I own and need to read shelf is 224, which means that if I counted correctly, what is math? 14. 14 books I own or are not part of my Goodreads. And I could not tell you what 14 there are, because I have a bad habit of like buying books and then not adding them to my Goodreads right away. And then I like lose track of what's on there and what's not. So yeah, that was interesting and eye-opening and all those words and adjectives. I have a lot of unread books. I'm trying to do better with buying books this year, both for like cost reasons, but also space reasons, because as you can see, I'm already like out of room in my little book corner, and we're not gonna move to a bigger house for like years and years, because who can afford to buy a house in this economy? So this year I have only bought, I think I've bought 6 books so far this year, and we're halfway through February. Part of my like not buying books this year does not include like books I buy for my book club, because I like the sense of community being in a book club gives me. And so I'm going to buy the books to read for that book club regardless. If I can find them used, then like, yes, I'll buy them used. For January, the book was The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and I found a used copy of that, so I bought that. But for February, the book was Bride by Allie Hazelwood, which came out this month. So obviously I had to buy a new one for that. So 2 of the 6 I bought for the book club, which is like, those are 12 books this year I'm going to have to buy. And then, you know, if I'm making excuses, no, 6 is not the number. It is 5, because one of those new books my boyfriend bought for me as like a little surprise. And so it's on my shelf, but I didn't pay for it. So that doesn't count against me financially. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Yeah. So those are the books I own. Those are all the books I own that I have not read. In case you're wondering, again, this is if my Goodreads is accurate. So on my Goodreads, I have 385 as owned, and I have 224 as owned and not read. I hope I've been saying the correct 100th place for these numbers. So, which means either way, like between owned and not read, I'm missing the 14 books. So like pretending that doesn't exist for this math we're doing right now, that means I own 161 books that I have read. And that does not include all of my YAs and classics I read in high school and like middle school that I left boxed up in my mom's attic, because like I said, limited space. So I only brought books with me that like I care about. I moved out like 2.5 years ago. So all these books, like all the books I read are this whole bookcase. Obviously Cassandra Clare on the wall behind me. And then I have some spillover on another bookcase. Oh, and then the one cubby at the bottom. Those are my read books. All of those books I have read in the past 5 or 6 years. There are a couple of exceptions. There are a couple books that like I read when I was younger, but I want to reread them, so I brought them with me. For example, like I have a couple of classics that I read when I was younger, but I really liked them, so I brought them with me. And then there's some YA books I read when I was younger that I've reread as an adult. But anyway, the number is so different because I did not bring a lot of books with me. Otherwise, it would be more even, and that would make me sound better. That if I had like instead of having, what did I say, 161 books that I had read, if it was 261 books I'd read versus 238 that I hadn't read, doesn't that sound better? But anyway, I am just talking to talk at this point, which is a habit for me. So let's end the video. Yeah, okay. Thanks for watching. I hope this was interesting to you. Let me know if any of those books I should like bump up in my TBR and read them sooner, because maybe if you tell me to read them, I'll actually read them soon. So yeah, let me know. And thanks for watching, and maybe you'll watch more of my videos, and yeah, bye.